Welcome to episode 10 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens.
Dude, you're already laughing? Like, holy shit, this is going to be an episode.
It's been a day. Anyway, I am Lori, and I'm here with my bestie, Laura.
Hello.
Hello. And we are today going to be we'll be discussing wet white pants, popsicles,
Num num.
and trail angels, which are the best.
They are the best.
Yes, we will be talking about our beverage of the week,
Yes.
kind of surrounding Chicago. We will talk about our Epic Week update.
Cool.
Running the Chicago Marathon.
Chicago.
And then teasing next week, we'll be going into the Eversource Hartford Marathon,
Which is in Connecticut.
And for those of us who keep joining us, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, and we would love for you to like us, follow us, subscribe on all of our socials. We're pretty much across all the listening platforms.
Everywhere.
YouTube, please, Instagram, Facebook, all of it. Please show us your love. We need some love.
Subscribe. Like us.
Yes. Anyhow, so to our beverage of the week, Laura, what are you drinking today?
Well, I chose a white wine, so a Sauvignon Blanc, because nothing really stood out from Chicago for me. Other than a really, really nice mimosa in a restaurant that we ate at, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. But in a couple of the pictures, going back into the photo archives, I was drinking white wine, which is it's always a Sauvignon Blanc. So I am drinking a Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc. Funny story. Can I share my funny story about Kim?
Of course.
So Kim Crawford is the wine of choice between my sister and I, Megan, during the summertime.
Yes.
So I totally change over during the warm months to white wine. And so we find this wine a couple of years ago, and it's at the time it was reasonably priced. And every time my sissy and I get together and we have some white wine and, it's flowing. It goes from one bottle to then maybe two bottles. And so we had this running joke that every time we drank Kim Crawford wine, Kim was like our evil stepsister.
Right.
So when we would go on vacation, she's like, I'm bringing the stepsister Kim. Is Kimmy coming? So it just becomes this running joke. Well, fast forward a number of years. After we started doing the Kim Crawford drinks. And we're in Hawaii with my parents. So it was Jim and I and my parents at dinner. Mm-hmm. And we ordered a bottle of Kim Crawford wine because we got my mom hooked on this stuff as well. So I made a joke about like Kim being like our evil stepsister. And the sommelier who was like delivering the wine, he's like, you do realize that like Kim Crawford is a man. I was like, say what? Like, no idea.
Right.
So next thing you know, I'm on my phone and I'm doing the Google, and lo and behold, Kim Crawford is a guy. We can't go back. Kim is a woman. Is a woman to us. And my sister even got me a little tumbler that says, if I'm drunk, blame my sister Kim.
That is so cute. I had no idea she got that for you.
Yes. So
I love that.
So I am drinking Kim Crawford Sauvignon Blanc.
Very nice.
So what are you drinking?
I am going to, I think it's one of the sponsors.
Yes.
Maybe a small sponsor, but they definitely have a spot or did have a spot at the expo for the Chicago Marathon.
That's what you thought was really sweet, that they had beer at the expo.
At the expo, I'm like, all right, we're starting this
I know,
out
she's
real
like,
good.
Yep.
Hello,
You had that
Goose.
little like devil, like kind of like, I'm going to go over and go drink some beer.
Yes, Goose Island. And I did not read this, but it does say on the side, it says born in Chicago in 1988. So Goose Island Brewery, I am drinking you today. It's a pull of sunshine and tropical sweeteners. Big juicy bear hug.
Oh,
Imperial IPA. It is 9.9%. So if I'm slurring at the end of the hour, you now know why.
it's okay. When you fucked up today and forgot your microphone and had to go back home, I already had a
Yes.
glass of wine with Maggie. So
Yes.
we should be even.
Yes, we will be even. And today has been a day, if you can't tell, because like I forgot my mic, we forgot the camera stand,
The batteries weren't
the
charged.
batteries weren't charged.
yeah.
I forgot my medal
This
today.
is what
you will
this is what
notice.
happens when we take a week off.
Yeah, and we went on location, so I
Yes.
got to get my shit together if we
Yeah.
go on location again. But like, if you're joining us on YouTube, behind me, my medal is missing. I actually had both medals because my husband and I ran this in 2011. It's actually my second state. So I did Florida, and then we went to Chicago. So, but I am going to crack my beer
All right,
now.
crack a
'cause
beer,
I'm
baby.
dying for a sip.
Get it in that microphone there. There we go. Okay.
And here's to camp because that's the best start of a song ever.
Here, yes. Here's to Chicago.
Cheers to Chicago. Chicago, Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Laura, tell us, how have you been the last, week and a half, 2 weeks? You kind of had some stuff going on.
Yeah. Last weekend, we went and visited St. Augustine, Florida. And my sister-in-law and
Great
brother-in-law.
town.
Yeah, my sister-in-law is Sarah. So this is Jim's youngest sister on his mom's side. And her husband, Tim, and their two kids, Emily and Noah. We all went down to St. Augustine. They rented a house. It was absolutely spectacular. It was like right downtown. So we were in walking distance to everything.
That's
so Jim and
awesome.
I went down, and we also were joined by Maddie and my son-in-law, Matthew. And it was just like a really nice, couple of days. We flew in Thursday night. I unfortunately have a lot of stuff going on at work, so I didn't take any time off, but it was nice to take some breaks and sit outside. And over the weekend, we had a blast because it was St. Patty's Day on Monday.
Do they do anything special with the town?
They do. It was actually one of the oldest celebrations for St. Patrick's
Oh,
Day.
that's cool.
Is in St. Augustine. So people like flooded that place on Monday.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, they do have, like, in the historic downtown, there's just, like, a pedestrian walkway,
Oh,
right? Like a
it's-
whole pedestrian
yeah,
area with no traffic.
And I haven't been to St. Augustine since Maddie was, I don't know, maybe like 3 when we used to live in Savannah and we drove down to Orlando. So at the time, like there were a couple eateries and it was okay. Oh my gosh, like the food places down there now. We ate a fantastic dinner one night. I had this steak that I could have cut it with a butter knife.
Ooh, yum.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, and so and then down in St. Augustine, they have the Fountain of Youth. They have the old fort that was built in like the
Yes.
1500s. Was it Ponce de Leon? It brought the Spaniards, so it's got a lot of
Yeah.
Spanish influence down there.
Absolutely.
But the cool thing that because I was texting you, was when we landed in Jacksonville, which is maybe like an hour away from St. Augustine. So we stayed at the airport Thursday night because we got in so late.
yeah.
And then Friday we had a bunch of hours to kill because Jim, my husband, wasn't coming in until later. So we went to Poe's Tavern
Ugh.
at
So
Atlantic
jealous.
Beach. At Atlantic Beach. So I have to
So
share
jealous.
with everyone. So Poe's Tavern is this place. There's 3 locations, I think you said?
think-
there's 3.
I think there's 3 now. I know there may be one. Is there one in Savannah?
I don't think so.
I'll have to look.
Yeah, we have to Google that one.
Or wait,
Maggie's doing
Maggie,
a hot
we-
minute right now.
Yes. We can still talk. We can still talk.
Yeah,
She'll
so
correct
so
us.
we went to the one just Florida, and there's
Please,
one
please.
in there is
There's
one in
one
Savannah.
Yeah, I thought.
Okay.
There's 4 now.
Please tell me it's moving further north.
North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida.
Oh, Wilmington. Yeah,
Okay.
Wilmington, right?
And where? Which state?
North Carolina.
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Wrights Beach.
Oh, Wrightsville. Beach.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, okay. So Lori, ever since I have known you,
Yes.
you have been talking about this Poe's Tavern, and you proclaimed quite comfortably
All the
that
time.
Poe's Tavern was by far the best hamburger you have ever had in your entire life, and
Yes.
every burger that you have ever had has since then has always been compared to Poe's Tavern. Does it trump?
Yes.
Take
The
over
Amontillado burger at Poe's Tavern.
Yeah, I had the Rue Morgue,
Yes.
and it had crab on it, and it was over. And you know me, I don't usually do French fries. Like they said, the French fries were gluten free, and I'm like, bring them, baby.
Yeah.
You know, it was just one of those days. So I went with Maddie and Matthew at Atlantic Beach,
And they
it
have a
was
really
fantastic.
great outdoor, like the whole feel of the place.
It was.
Is
It was.
really
They had a.
great.
We sat right next to this cute water fountain, and the wait staff was
Oh,
fantastic.
you were outside on
yes,
that right side.
Yes.
I know exactly where
And
you are.
yeah, and the waitress, when I told her, because I love my burgers like so well done, like
The
I like
opposite.
them burnt like a hockey puck.
Yin
and
and
when I
yang.
told you're like like what, medium rare.
Mer.
And so when I told her, I was like, dude, can you guys like burn my burger? And she's like, we can make it any way you want. I was like, ah. So finally went there, got to experience it myself. I would say then, and I know I told you this when we ran earlier
Yeah.
today, that I think it's my second favorite burger ever.
Yeah.
I think my top burger is still the one we had in Cincinnati, and I'm not going to go and steal our thunder for the Cincinnati episode, but we will share in the Cincinnati episode what I feel is my favorite burger. So I think mine
it
is
was an excellent burger.
Yes, I think
It
mine
was-
is like between. Now, if I had a different burger, maybe, but
Yeah.
I did say that the one I had in Cincinnati had a bun on it, and
Yeah.
then the one I had in Pose did not have a bun, so that could be a factor.
Different, yeah, could be.
you know. But yeah, so really really nice family time. Absolutely love my sister-in-law, and you know she's a number of years much younger than Jim and I. She was actually our flower girl.
Aw.
And yeah, she was 6 when we got married. So it's just nice to, you know, like, I don't know, one night her, Maddie, and I just sat around the kitchen table, you know, just kind of having some wine and just having girl talk. And we went to bed at like 2 a.m.
It's so amazing to be able to reconnect.
It
on a
is.
deeper
It,
level
like,
with
and in person
extended
is
family.
so different.
Yeah.
And I wish that they lived closer, but you know, we have all made a concerted effort at least like once or twice a year to go and connect. So that's what I did last weekend. That was a really, usually you tell the long stories, but I did the long story today.
That's all right.
Okay.
You know, sometimes
I know.
my mind is not really here today. I don't know where it is. It's foggy.
That's okay. We're gonna
A
find
lot
it.
of
We're gonna
yeah,
find it. We're
find
gonna bring it into Chicago
Yeah.
here in a bit. But what did you do over the weekend?
I had a couple of things. So while you were gone, Maggie's boyfriend Connor, they've been together for 4 years, and they have a huge celebration every year. And I'm going to try and get this right. So Connor is Italian and Irish. Italian on his mom's side, Irish on his dad's side.
Okay.
Connor's grandmother, again 100% Irish, was born on St. Patrick's Day.
She was 100% Italian.
Oh, did I just say Irish?
Yep.
Shit. 100% Italian. Thank you. But was born on St. Patrick's Day. So they started this celebrating St. Patrick's Day for the grandmother's birthday. And they have this corned beef celebration where she made 60 pounds of corned beef.
60 pounds of corned beef?
60
A
pounds.
lot of fucking corned beef,
It's
dude.
a lot of corned beef. And it is good.
How
She-
how do they do that? Do they have like
it's mystery to me.
do they cook it in the because usually you boil it. I'm Irish. We boil it. So they boiled 60 pounds.
60 pounds of,
Holy shit.
of corned beef. And she does the cabbage with the red potatoes,
Oh, yeah.
carrot. I think she made soda bread.
Oh yeah.
So there was breads there. I mean, and desserts. And it was like there was a bagpiper there.
You sent video and
Yes.
yeah, we were like, wow, that's hardcore.
Yeah, it was. So, but we had a great time. Dave and I and Ella, we went up. We were so grateful to be invited to their family celebration and to get to see firsthand what corned beef is because we've been hearing about it for years.
That's awesome.
And we just I had a great time just sitting around chatting as much as I could. Rosie was very busy, but we did get to hang out with Rich quite a bit. And it was just a good time. We had
love
a
it.
really good time.
I love it.
So we did that, and then Dave and I drove up to Cranberry Lake
Yes.
and got a few days at Cranberry Lake.
Love that.
We have a 1970 Frigidaire range.
You and
that's
this
mustard.
oven, man.
This oven is going to be the death of me.
The
So
oven.
like our cabin was built in 1968, and absolutely very little has changed. And we bought it fully furnished, fully accessorized, we haven't done much to this because Dave wants to smack my hand every time I'm like, oh, we could dip.
Did Dave ever see the thing that we broke? Is he missing it?
What did we break?
I broke a plate.
Oh no.
Okay.
What plate did we break?
I broke
Was it one of the moose plates?
No, I think I had a
Oh, that plate. Shh.
Oh,
He'll never know.
yeah.
It's just-
Dave, I'm so sorry because if you're listening to this, I broke a deer plate because I slammed the top of the wood holder in the cabin.
I forgot about
and
that.
it must have jostled the joist on the floor, which then went up the wall, and then the really ugly fucking plate like fell down and it broke.
And it was
then I
ugly.
turned to Lori. I was like, "Is there anything else you want me to break here?" You can blame on
I'm
me.
like, how about all those bottles over there? The previous owners love to collect.
It's just like a lot of tchotchke.
Empty
it's
bottles.
I
It's
love
a
it.
lot.
I love it because it makes the cabin.
But it's a lot.
But man, there's just
It's a
a lot.
lot.
There's a lot in there. So yeah. So
But anyway,
But Dave, I swear, I only broke the plate.
but the kitchen is like true to the late 1960s, early 70s, so it's all mustard colored.
Yes.
It's including our stove, which the stove top still works, but the oven has ceased to work. And I was able to track down, you can't find a model number on this thing anywhere. I was able to Google and I found it on Reddit and it worked. I was able to buy a repair part. I got a new element. But then Dave went to try and do it and couldn't quite get it. And then we have a guy, Kevin.
We all have a guy.
Yeah, we have a guy, and he came over and helped. And he's like, "Well, here's the good news, bad news. Good news is it's the right part and it'll fit. Bad news is that the wiring in the back of the oven is toast." So now I'm like, you can't put a brand new oven in that kitchen. It's not going to look right.
No, it'll totally ruin the
And I
entire
told
kitchen.
Dave, I'm like, it's going to want me to trigger doing updates in the cabin, which
Yeah.
might change the vibe a little.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so that was a trip. It was beautiful. It's beautiful watching the lake transition because it was still kind of frozen solid. Actually, yesterday I was checking the cameras up there. It was rippling. The lake was rippling.
Oh, nice.
Way
So-
far out. It
okay.
was like starting to thaw, but then it refroze overnight. So this morning it was like glass.
Oh, that's awesome. So, and I know that you guys I don't know if is it on Facebook where you have like a little competition up there to go and try
they
to
do
guess the date of when like the last bit of ice is going to be on the lake.
Yeah, the Cranberry Lake Boat Club does the ice out challenge where you do the date and the time, and whoever wins a pot of money.
It goes all the way into like freaking like April.
Oh yeah, like the average
no way.
date I think is DJ's birthday, April 6th is
Yeah,
the
no
average
way.
date. So like when we're swimming in May, it's only been 6 weeks that the lake has been thawed.
Nope.
I
Nope.
love it.
Nope.
I love cold water.
Yeah,
I love it.
and Dave just to close that out, Dave had sent Jim a video, because they both love to fish.
Yeah.
And I guess there was part of the lake that had like
we have
melted.
a creek. We have like
Right.
snow melt that goes down around the side of our property. So like
Yeah.
right at the edge,
It
like,
melts.
It melts
Yeah,
because there's
it's
a lot of movement.
right?
Yeah.
So, but I guess like it was thawed, and then the next day it had frozen over
Mm-hmm.
again. So Dave had sent Jim a video of him casting his lure, and it just went dunk, 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 right across the ice. And Jim's like, "Oh, that's just wrong."
Yes. And then after that, Ella had this past weekend a horse show at Swan Lake Stables, which is out near Gettysburg.
Yeah.
And she's riding so well. I mean, there were some mistakes that happened, but like I'm so excited for this summer.
That's awesome.
She's riding so well right now, and he's really coming along, Felix. And
That's awesome.
we love him.
Yeah, we got to see Egla ride last year up in Lake Placid.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to go and see like just how she's progressed, and
she's
and
even
just,
better now.
Yeah, and just seeing the sport, just in general, and kind of like man, it's like a time suck. Like it's it's very, very, to me, it's like one of those like very, like you're committed all day long as a parent.
Most people who are in that sport have incredible amounts of fuck off money, which
Yeah.
is not us. We
Yeah.
are the poor people of the
Yeah,
sport.
yeah.
So like for us, time is still money. For them, time's just time.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it for me, I'd
Yeah,
say.
no, it's good times. I mean,
Oh,
well,
but before we get on,
What?
I can't start Chicago yet. I had a crazy idea this week.
What was your crazy idea?
I had kind of a crazy idea that maybe we should use Broad Street. I'm gonna start acting like Trump with my hands. Maybe we should use Broad Street with like training for Marathon du Medoc, and I kind of had this crazy idea. And I know if you're not joining us on YouTube, you're not going to be able to see what's happening. But this morning, I wanted to try and see if I could fit a bottle of wine into, and I'm pulling out my my little camel pack I use for backpacking or hiking when I do little hikes.
Oh, God help me.
And I was thinking, and lo and behold, my little camel pack holds a bottle of wine perfectly. That maybe we should stop. I should carry a bottle of wine, and we should stop and have.
It will be my birthday. You do realize that too.
Have sips, like a little bit of wine every mile. Just in preparation. Please don't kick us out, Broad Street.
So can we find out how much wine like they actually serve in Medoc so that way we can actually like
guess
train?
It's like a little, it'll be like a little swiggy or two.
Like a little. So are we committed to like finishing
This,
the
not
bottle by
this.
the end of
No.
like the end of the race?
No, I don't say finish a bottle. but,
Really?
we probably
We
will.
totally will.
But I'm just saying. Like I could put it in my bladder if it all fit, but if not, like
I'm
the bottle fits perfectly
feeling-
into the camel
I'm feeling
pack
like-
that I can carry.
When I was in the
That's all
army,
I'm
our mantra was train as you fight.
Right.
So, train as you will go and run.
We're going to be running the Marathon du Medoc, and there's 23 wine stops. That's like every mile almost.
Dude, you're fucked up. I love it. I'm game. See,
By the
and
way-
this is how these things happen.
And let me just tell you, I just said to her today. So we ran 5 miles this morning, kind of just starting to build our base of that mileage.
Just get back into it. Yep.
I had this idea on Wednesday when we went out running in the morning, and I'm like, no, Lori, just save it. Just save it for the podcast because that's
Which
good.
is really hard for the two of us because like
We
as
just
rando ideas come up, like we're just firing them off to each other and
Right.
stuff. And that was a good one.
And this morning I was like, I'm just gonna tell you, and you're
And I'm like, nope, hold
don't
it.
you dare.
Yeah, I'm really
Don't you
glad.
dare.
I'm really glad that you held on to that, and I really love the fact that you brought the Camelback to show me that it actually fits into the Camelback.
It does fit actually into the Camelback. What I don't remember is, again, please, Broad Street, don't kick us out. I promise
They'll never
we're
know.
safe.
They'll never know.
You don't think anybody?
But we
can't tag them.
probably need to like pre-open that
Well,
like,
absolutely,
beforehand
yeah,
and stuff,
pre-open.
and not like sit with a freaking corkscrew.
But I don't know what the security's like. You know how like you have to walk through security for the Philly Marathon. I don't know whether. I don't recall Broad Street, but I don't think I've done it since 2020.
have you ever seen a one of those like the liquid bladders?
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a liquid bladder for that.
Yeah, but you don't want to put the wine in that. But we can go
really.
and get a separate one
Oh.
and then put it in there, and people think it's water, so nobody will ever question you. I got you.
Okay.
See, she's got the ideas, and I'm the engineer to go and figure out how to go and make that shit work. So sounds like we're gonna
So
drink
Maggie,
a bottle of wine while we're doing Broad Street.
Are you going to join us on this endeavor?
No, she cannot because she's going to be supporting Connor running his first 10 miler.
Does Connor want to participate?
We cannot give Connor so Connor signed up for Broad Street, which is awesome. It'll be the longest that he has run at 10 miles. We cannot pull a Maddie on him. That's what we're going to call that. Because when Maddie ran her first marathon in New Orleans, we were evil people with that whole situation. So we're not going to give Connor a Maddie. No.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
So, on to Bank of America Chicago Marathon.
Yes. Let's talk about Chicago.
So, one of the 3 world majors in the U.S.
Yep. Which is New York. And I thought you were touching your boobs, like lifting your mic.
Literally, I was like,
Lori was just adjusting her mic for those of you who cannot see her, but I thought she was grabbing her boobs.
Oh, I felt like my mic had dipped.
a little
on
punchy
its own
today.
a little bit.
Yeah, so it's one of the world majors. So the 3 in the United States are Chicago, New York, and Boston. And
Yes.
then what are and there when we first started doing this, there were 6, and now the freaking
7.
people added like another one, so there's 7 now.
And there's going to be 8.
Yeah, we
Or
know that
9.
that's coming.
Yeah.
And then what are the
so
other
the other
ones?
ones are London, Berlin, and the Tokyo Marathon, and now Sydney was added this year.
Yes.
And also, coincidentally, they used to never have a lottery for entry for Sydney, and
Now they do.
And now
Of
they
course
do.
they do.
Yeah. So there's that. But I may sound like I dog on Chicago a little. And I'm going to apologize in advance as far as the marathon. I love Chicago town. Chi-town, you got it going on.
Totally got it going on.
I think coming from the Northeast, we come from cities that have a lot of colonial character and have very big personalities. The towns themselves, just everything about New York. Like New Yorkers are New Yorkers and Bostons are
Bostonians.
Bostonians.
I
And
thought you were going to call them Bosters.
they're wicked smart, and Philly's like the blue collar grinder. Like we just all have kind of our personalities over here in the northeast. But like Midwest, sometimes I feel like, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, it's not intentional, but sometimes the cities in the Midwest and that area don't have necessarily a strong identity.
I feel like they do, but it's very similar in terms of it having a very like kind of vanilla vibe.
Yeah.
There's because you don't have as much history
Yes.
and character to those cities.
Exactly.
So a lot of them were constructed around the same period of time.
Yes.
They feel very similar.
And it's the
footprint-
Western expansion piece of it.
Yes,
like
and the footprint is very similar.
Yes.
And so they're great cities, but I like Chicago. Like a
Chicago.
lot. Like,
Well, I'm saying like Chicago stands out.
it does.
Kansas City,
Stands
in my
out,
opinion,
yes.
stands out. Cincinnati
Stands
stands
out,
out.
yeah.
Louisville's trying to stand out, and that's like a town that's very personal to me.
I think Louisville stands out.
It's getting there. I think it's gotten way better.
Yeah.
Nashville is like killing it right now with with
Their
their
vibe, yeah.
identity. But like Chicago like has a lot of character, has a lot of
agree.
history, like with the World Fair. I don't know if you got anybody here reads, but like Devil in the White City, like that's a really cool book about that surrounds a serial killer. During the World's Fair time. It's super cool.
But why do you hate on the Chicago marathon?
The marathon. Thank you for keeping me on
I got
track.
you. I got you.
Well, so I think that if you're going to, this is just a personal
Yeah, it's
opinion, in my opinion, if you're going to do the world majors, I would in the US, I highly encourage probably doing Chicago, Boston, New York.
I agree.
In that order.
I totally agree.
Chicago, because I feel like if you're going to run Boston or New York first, Chicago won't have the same excitement. And you did them. Did you do them in that order? You did them in that order.
No, I did.
Didn't you?
So we did Boston, which we talked about a couple of episodes ago.
Oh, yeah, we did Boston
and then we did
first.
Chicago, and then we did New York. So I hadn't done New York City yet. So I did
Yes.
Boston, Chicago, New York.
And how did you feel about that order?
I totally agree. If you're focusing on the world majors, and for those of you who don't know, like we mentioned the 7 cities across the world right now that are in the world majors. So this is the Abbott World Majors, and when you finish your 7th race, you actually get a medal, and I want to say it's like the size, like
a
diameter
grapefruit.
wise. No, maybe like around a dinner plate. I mean, it's a really big. So it's empty in the middle, and then it has the 7 medallions of the 7 cities that you run.
Yeah.
And it's like this coveted thing, and not many people. We don't have the stats right now on like how many people have actually done this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a goal of ours, right?
Yeah,
To go and
100%.
to go and do this. But I totally agree.
Also on top of that, like people who make marathoning their career, like the Olympians, the Kenyans, like they're running because these have the bigger purses too.
Yes.
So like you're looking at when you watch the elites run by, which we don't really ever get to see the elites ever, but because they're done by the time we start.
Every once in a while, you have like a like an out and back, and we get to go and see them running.
Yeah,
and we're
I
like,
mean,
holy crap!
Yeah, like it's just like they are next level.
Oh, they're like 10 levels.
Marathons.
They're
Yeah.
not just next. They're like 10 levels like
Above,
higher. Yes.
yeah. I mean, you're talking about tens of thousands of people, a million plus people spectating
Yes.
in each town.
Yes. Yeah.
sorry, I interrupted you. But
No,
I
no,
guess
no, no.
before we got too far, like just to emphasize what a world major is, it's part of it is that professional piece to it too.
Yeah, and I think your thing with Chicago is just, you know, it's not it doesn't have like the pizzazz that like New York City or Boston has.
Yeah.
You know, it's a well-run race.
Well run.
It goes through some really fantastic, and we'll run through the course here that we did in 2017. So we did this on October 8th of 2017. So 2017 was a pretty busy like race year for us.
Very.
We get that's when we
Like to date, like
Yes.
that was starting to crank it up.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't our busiest year.
No,
By
no.
far, but that was when it was like one of those, like we're in this.
Yeah.
Like we're so in
It was
this.
the first time that we switched to having a couple of spring races.
Yes.
And even still, I think we backed off of spring races for a while because I still had younger kids with
Yeah, we
spring
had to.
sports
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff,
So
but-
we knew at some point in time when the kids would go off to college that we had to go and make up some ground,
Yeah.
right, for the races that only happen in the springtime, because otherwise this would have taken us like 20 years to go and do. So we,
Yeah.
you know, and we knew that going in. So when we ran this in October of 2017, it was a field of they had 44,508 finishers. So
Wow.
not a small race.
No,
Not by
Not
any,
at all.
Yep.
no.
Yeah.
You don't feel alone. There's
Yeah.
no alone on that race.
There's no alone like ever. And this is, like Lori said, it's a lottery race. So at the time in 2017, and this one had like a better percentage of people accepted. This one had at the time a 33% acceptance of people who apply for that race get accepted.
And what a blessing that we were both able to
both,
get in and
right.
run
We were
that.
super excited about that because
Yeah.
I didn't have to go and like pay anything extra.
And neither did I. Yeah.
And now versus like, you know, like one of the other races we were talking about was at Boston. No,
Yeah.
it was New York, because we just tried to get into New York for 2025.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah.
I'm crossing wires here. But we tried to get into New York for 2025. Both of us did not get in. Wah, wah, wah.
Surprise.
But the percentage of applicants accepted is 2.3%.
That's absurd.
Right, versus the 33% for Chicago. So, so little bit different, you know, in that regard. And then the other cool thing, you just talked about spectators. So on their Chicago Marathon website, it estimated that in 2017 they had about 1.5 million people spectating
That's insane.
the race, right? So like and we're going to talk about all the neighborhoods we ran through, and I mean the crowds were fantastic. It was a hot day too.
It was really hot.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
the temperature like?
It was like 80,
Yeah.
81.
Yeah.
Which really, when you're running, that cranks it up to about 100, 101.
Yeah, but it was a little cooler start, right?
Yeah, it was about in the 50s, I
Yeah.
think, right?
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
comfortable. Like we felt
was
comfortable at the start. We weren't.
I think
too
I was
cold.
already in a tank top at the start.
Yeah, you were crazy. I had a hat on, I think, and like some throwaway gear.
And that's not unusual for us to be like that.
And the thing that I loved about Chicago is that it was flat. You really
Yes.
didn't have like a whole lot of hills, undulations, like anything. It was pretty much a flat course.
Yes. So, all in all, my beef with Chicago is it has great crowd support,
Yes.
but it's not the same crowd support as New York or Boston, in my opinion.
yeah.
It's not. I'm not trying to dog it. I'm really not. It's not that I dislike.
I
the
liked
race.
Chicago.
Would I
I know you
run
had more of a beast because you did it twice.
Yeah,
so.
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
So I did it in 2011 with Dave, Dave's uncle, Uncle Tim, Aunt Laura. Shout out.
Uncle Tim, Aunt Laura.
I haven't seen them in forever, but
What's up?
they live nearby, so we all ran it, and his Uncle Tim ran it.
Oh, I
in
didn't know that.
2011.
Oh,
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. And so like I did it then, and then I did New York in between,
Oh, and then you tainted yourself.
and then I went back to Chicago.
But when you went back to Chicago, you did it with me.
Of course, it was way different because Dave left me.
Right.
I didn't have anybody to run with, and then I had you.
Yeah.
So it was great.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, of like the 3 medals, like Chicago's not my favorite.
It's okay. It's okay.
Of the
But we're gonna-
shirts and the garb.
But we're gonna go and
Chicago's not my
tell you
favorite.
guys all about Chicago and how much fun we had.
Yes, we had
in
a
the
blast.
town. So you
Again,
know,
I love Chicago town.
Yeah.
Love it.
yeah. You're selling Chicago. All right. So
I would ask me if I do Chicago again.
So the race was no. I asked that at the end. Don't kill the
know.
format.
I'm sorry.
So all right. So
Getting
the
on-
race was on a Sunday. So you and I flew in on Friday.
Yes.
And so then we made a decision that we were going to be complete tourists on Saturday. We were just going to Chicago the shit out of like the weekend, right? And
Yes.
just like anything and everything that we could do on Saturday, we were going to do. Because like I think we've said in earlier episodes, we like absolutely hate sitting around and not doing anything. And you know, it's like, hey,
Well,
like,
why
let's-
would you go
let's be a
all the way to
tourist.
Chicago and
Let's
not
be a tourist,
see Chicago?
right?
Yeah.
So and then we ended up staying at the JW
It's
Marriott.
fabulous.
Oh my
Great
God.
property, perfectly located, start and finish. It was great.
It was so this is where like when we started like figuring out whenever you can go and find a hotel close to the start, and I think we mentioned that maybe last episode, 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Where you can actually walk to the start. Like absolutely highly recommend that. You mentioned that I am a Marriott gal.
Yes.
So we go and walk into the lobby, and I remember like going up the escalator
the
and
JW smell.
oh, the JW smell.
It's got a smell.
and I remember going up the escalator because you have to go up this big escalator in the
Yes.
lobby, and I turned around to you. I was like, "Who's your mama?" Because I think I booked that
And I
one.
was like, yeah, that's you.
and it was only a 20-minute walk in the morning to the start. So it just
Wasn't
absolutely
bad at all.
the location was absolutely fabulous. All right, so talk about the course.
So the start is right in Grant Park,
Yes.
which is very convenient and it's pretty. You know, I mean, it's a lovely
It
area
is. It's
by
like
the
right
water.
on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
a great start.
Yep.
Well organized.
Very, very, very well
I mean,
organized.
everything about it, when you're moving that many people, it's amazing. It was very
Mm-hmm.
well organized. You kind of start in Grant Park, and then you kind of meander a little bit through downtown, but
Which is nice because
Yeah.
you know you got a lot of like I don't know restaurants and retail
And you got the
people
river.
and the river and
Yeah.
so as a runner when you're kind of meandering through a city, I always love that because
And there's
you know
people.
your eyes are going everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of energy.
Lots of
you know,
energy.
and it's a good distraction. So
Oh.
like you kind of crank out like maybe like 2-3 miles like just in that city area before you kind of start popping north, right?
Yes, but
Yeah.
that's probably like the north part is probably one of my favorite parts of the course.
I agree.
Because you wind up shooting up north into, and I can't remember the neighborhood without taking a peek. I'm so sorry.
Old Town?
Yes, Old Town, in the Old Town Triangle area.
Yeah.
Like just the old homes, the old historic-
brownstones,
Oh, they're
yeah.
beautiful. And I
My
remember,
my cousin Heather and her husband Kevin live up that way, and
gorgeous.
yeah, the other raising their 2 kids there, and yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Yeah,
I
and
don't know exactly like if that's the neighborhood, but like they're in like one of those older areas.
Yeah, and I remember it feeling very like tree lined
Yes.
and kind of shady at that point because it
got hot
It got
fast.
hot fast.
Yeah.
and it's very pretty. And then you go up and then you start coming back down, and then
Yeah, and then so we went through places like Lincoln Park, and then
and Wrigleyville.
Wrigley Field.
Yes,
Which was cool because I traveled to Chicago a lot when I used to work for Wells Fargo, and because we had an office up there, and so it was cool running by Wrigley Field because like I actually went into the stadium at some point in time when I worked for Wells, and it was a cool experience. Like I would
Yeah.
not want that to be like my hometown field because it's just old. You know,
Yeah.
and the Phillies Stadium, Citizens Bank Park is just I don't know, it's just like creme de la creme, you know.
Yeah.
But there's people like it had so much character, like it just felt like old baseball, you know.
Yeah.
So-
You know what? It's a shame now that I think about it because we went I guess it was after the season ended, but would have been cool to be able to see a Chicago game there.
It would have been.
Since we saw the Sox
And dude,
in Boston.
how did I not take a picture of us freaking in front of the stadium?
I don't know. I don't.
Like I went through all my pictures like this morning, and I'm like, "What the f,
I
man,
don't
Laura,
remember.
you failed. I failed.
I'm
I
gonna
failed.
be real. I don't remember running in front of the
I
stadium.
failed.
Are you sure we ran in front of Wrigley Field?
It wasn't entirely in front of the
Or
field.
was it like
it was
Wrigley
like
Field
we could
adjacent?
see it. It was adjacent.
Okay.
But I didn't take a picture of it. Like why?
I don't know.
I don't know. I failed. I failed as the team
Probably because
photographer
we
that
were
day.
sitting there being miserable in heat, going, "Fuck, this is going to be a long day."
Yes. But when it was before we hit the half, and we hit one of our trail angels.
Oh yeah.
And so can I share?
Oh
this one?
please, because all these trail angels are your people.
They were my peeps.
But
yeah.
I want them to know if they're listening that they are deep in my heart because I remember, and it is so appreciated.
So trail angels, when you're having trail angels.
They're different than beer bitches.
They're different than beer bitches, right? So beer bitches are committed, and last episode, Egla gave
and designated.
Yes, you like if you're beer bitch, you are designated and you are committed, and you got some crap that you need to figure out. Egla gave a really really great account of that last week, where like you got to figure out people's pace and the time and location, and then where you going next and all that jazz, right? So there's a commitment there. Trail angels, they just appear.
Yeah.
And they appear at the right time. Look at me. I just got goosebumps. They just
that's so
appear at the right time. So as Lori and I were saying, like this race got hot fast, like
Real hot.
really, really fast. And so one of the guys that I went to West Point with, his name is E.G. Fishburne.
Thank
and
you, E.G.
Yes, and E.G. At the time lived in Chicago, and he found us probably around the halfway point. So. And I can't recall like if like it had to be through Facebook because I was like posting like what races we had coming up, right? Because that's what marathoners do. It's like, oh, I just ran this race and now I'm running this race, right?
Yeah.
And because he was in Chicago, like he knew that we were there. I hadn't seen EG. He was a year behind Jim and I at West Point. And I have not seen him in years, although like every once in a while, you have like interaction on Facebook. And he shows up with this bag of ice and face cloths and like water, and these things were like they were practically frozen, these face cloths.
Yes. E.G. was my favorite person on the planet. On the planet. When he's like, "Would you like an iced towel?" I was like,
And it was like E.G. and
are you kidding me
and
right
the fact that he found us was like absolutely remarkable.
Remarkable.
And we haven't seen each other in years. I mean, he looks fabulous, and he has not changed like hardly at all.
Yeah.
But then don't you hate it when guys like they just look they're like a good bottle of wine, they just age but they just look a little bit more like.
I don't know why that is about men,
right?
In general, like the gray hair is so much more.
That's EG. That's EG.
So much more acceptable.
So needless to say, EG shows up with these ice towels, and it was like a gift from the heavens. So we were extremely, extremely, extremely appreciative of that.
Very
and
much
and
so.
and so as a runner, one of the things two things that
Mm-hmm.
we do is you put a cold compress, ice, whatever, on your pulse points, right?
Yes.
On your wrists, because that'll go and cool you down, right? Mm-hmm. And then what else?
And also around your neck.
Yep.
Right around the back of your neck.
Yep. So we took the towels, put them on our wrists, and then like we ran around with the towels wrapped around our necks for a period of time.
It was so wonderful.
It was fabulous.
Yeah.
So that was our first trail angel,
Yes.
which was great. And then we what did we do like the other neighborhoods? We have like through.
Oh geez,
Flip the page, girl. Flip the page.
No. I know we went through University Village.
Yes.
That was like 13 through 21 was a lot of like little towns.
Yes.
Or little neighborhoods.
Yes.
University Village was little
Italy.
Pilsen neighborhood, which is cool. But I think one of my favorites was. Oh, flip it over. Don't. It's fine. You don't have to clap. It's all good. She printed off our little cheat sheets, and I was looking at the second page, not realizing it was on
It's
the
on
back
the
of the first
it's on the
page.
back side.
I got you.
I tried to save paper.
I got you. But Pilsen, I think, came with a nice little surprise, right?
It was our second angels on the course, and that my sister-in-laws Abby and Katie.
Yes,
So
and we've had them trail angels a couple times.
they have
which
been
has
our
awesome.
they have these are Jim's twin sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So Katie and Abby, and then Abby brought her son Jacob, who at the time was, I don't know, maybe like 8 years old. He was still really young. And Katie and Abby, I think at the time they were, maybe both of them were living in Wisconsin already.
Yeah.
So it was they drove down to the race.
And they were committed.
They were totally.
They had banners.
They had
t-shirts.
shirts like for us.
Because it was
and
your 16th marathon.
It was my it was
right?
my 16th state.
Oh, it's 16th state.
Yeah, even though
were we already that far along?
yeah, we were. So even though we're on episode 10 because we kind of went out of order and stuff to make
Yes.
sure that we're coinciding here. It was my 16th state. So they had a sign that said like Sweet 16 Laura on it.
Yes.
Which was like so cool,
It
and
was.
Jacob was super into it, and so they saw us there. I think they probably had like some candy or what have you, but then later on, all of a sudden Katie
comes running.
Katie,
Wasn't she running?
She was running, and I think she had like sneakers on that like she should not have been running in either.
Right.
But it was so hot. She finds us. I think she ran like 2 or 3 miles, which Katie has also run marathons.
Yeah.
But she found us, and what did she give us?
Fruit ice pops. It was amazing. I mean, like if there's one thing you can give a runner on a hot day on a course, a frozen fruit. Not the sugary ones.
No. It was
that,
like the real,
do
like
the
it had a
weird
real
itchy thing on the back of your throat. Not those.
No, this was like the
This
real
was like a
thing.
real fruit ice pop. It was
And they were the
so
double
good.
ones, right? Like it was like a wide. It
Oh
was like
my
a wide
gosh.
pop. But
It
then
was so good.
we took a bunch of them,
Oh,
right?
when we started, we were
And
trail angeling.
we
it
were
out.
trail angeling ourselves. So after Katie,
Because there was that one chick, wasn't there a chick there that was like really struggling?
she was really struggling, and I think I had taken the ice pop and I had it in between my boobs and my because it was cooling me down too. It, was like, it hadn't really melted yet, but she was really struggling, and in my mind I was like, I can't hold on to this. Like I need to give this to this lady, and so I gave her the ice pop, and I thought she was gonna cry.
Yeah, like she was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." Kind of like we were with Katie.
Yeah.
Very much
but
appreciative.
But that's what you do as a runner, right? Like you just got to keep paying it forward, because hopefully, like at some point in time later on, when that woman hopefully was running another race, she did something nice to another runner.
Well, I think that when you're not in it for like the timing aspect of it, when you're where we are, you're a community, and it's
Yes.
all about the finish and who needs help to get to the finish.
That's absolutely right.
So like we've given out ibuprofen at the end of races because again we screw around a lot. Like we're not back in the back of the pack necessarily because we have to be. We're at the back of the pack
By choice.
By choice.
It's by choice.
Yeah. And so like again, like when we're running and things start clearing out and thinning out and you're kind of back of the pack,
I see a lot of people struggling.
a lot of people struggling. And so like
And we're like,
yeah, usually we're fine.
usually,
we're just
most
bopping
of the
along.
time,
yeah,
we're
most-
like completely messing around.
yeah.
So those are our 2 angels, or 4 angels. So
Yes.
E.G. and Jacob and Katie and Abby. And I love
And thank you again.
Yes, and I love my sister-in-laws. They are 2 freaking badass ladies, and they're a lot younger than Jim and I as well. And so it's been really cool to go and see them on their journeys, through sports, and I don't know. I absolutely love them.
kids.
Absolutely love them. So, all right. So then
After
after
popsicles.
popsicles.
One of my favorite. This is probably one of my second favorite part of the Chicago
Okay.
Marathon. Is around 20.
Other than the finish. Sorry.
Yes. That too. Around 21, 22, you hit Chinatown.
Yes.
And they have the full Chinese dragons out. And it's just a really cool vibe in Chinatown. I love Chinatown every time I run through it. Love it.
And they had like a really cool entrance, kind of like how
The
Philly
gate,
has
yeah.
the gate to Chinatown. They
Yep.
have a gate that when we have a picture in front of that.
Yes.
And yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Love Chinatown.
Yeah.
It's a very cool vibe there.
So because my last name is Lee, as you know,
Yes.
my husband Jim is half Scottish and half Chinese.
Nice mix.
And yes, and so we love ourselves some Chinatown food. So I can't really partake in it as much anymore because of having the gluten allergy. But I know that if Jim was with us, he would have gone into Chinatown and gotten some char siu bao.
What is that?
Oh my gosh! So if y'all ever get into like a Chinatown area, definitely give it a try, because it is a pastry stuffed with basically like this pork.
Oh, wait. He's gotten those in Philly. Where were we all in Philly that he bought some and I was partaking?
I don't know, but like, it might have been the Philly Marathon.
Maybe.
But he, like, I absolutely love these things, and it just sucks that like I have a gluten allergy that I found out later on in life because I absolutely love them and I cannot eat them now, and they do not make gluten-free char siu bao.
Maybe someday.
Or maybe my daughter, who absolutely loves to cook, she can go and figure out how to go and make mama a gluten-free char siu bao.
I hope you heard that, Maddie.
Maddie. So, all right. So what else did we do in Chicago? Because like we said, we landed on Friday. The race was on Sunday, and we like put 1,000 pounds of shit in that 1 pound bag on Saturday. So what did we do on Saturday?
Oh, gosh.
Love Chicago.
I don't know. I know we went around Millennium Park, visited the Bean. I think the weather was kind of nice in the morning, got progressively worse as the day went on.
Yeah, a little cloudy. We're
cloudy.
like, man, it might rain.
Where did we go to breakfast that day?
All right, so I'm gonna totally botch the name of this place because I cannot speak French. French fries, French toast. I am gonna do my babble for our Medoc marathon. Yeah, I have to do babble because I cannot speak French, but it was called the Cochon Volant Brasserie. We did breakfast there. And we had some delicious mimosas and some delicious breakfast, and that's on Monroe Street. So it was like a short walk from our hotel. And then what did we do after that?
I think we went to packet pickup, right?
We did.
So I went from mimosas to drinking beer at Goose Island.
To drinking beer at Goose Island. Yes. So we were
We were
hydrating
really well.
I did not do the beer at Goose Island, and I kind of like I know I videoed you and took pictures of you going in and out of like their like they had like kind of like
it was
this
like a bus.
like
Wasn't
a
it
bus.
Yeah.
Like actually at the expo.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, which was really neat.
The
All right.
expo too was
Fabulous.
top notch.
It's
like
fabulous.
all the Abbott World Majors have top notch.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So then I believe
went to
after
lunch.
that we went to lunch at Sterling Food Hall.
Yes. That was kind of cool because it was like right downtown.
Yeah, and there was like a lot of different places in there.
Yeah.
Little restaurants and stuff. Yeah, within that area, and it was cool.
Yeah, because it's like more like a main seating, like a general seating area, but then
Yes.
you can go and like
Like a food court.
yes,
But
thank you.
a bougie food court.
Completely bougie food court. Yes.
So I think I had gotten it in my mind. I wanted to eat at this place called the Fat Shallot.
Which the name unto itself, like,
Right. Yeah. I want to eat there before marathon.
Yeah.
And decided that for some reason eating a truffle BLT would be a good idea. No, because that sat in my stomach for about 48 hours, like a lump. It was delicious.
what was on it?
I don't know. It's like truffle stuff and bacon. Lots of bacon.
Like you said, there was a lot of bacon on that.
There was a lot of bacon. Like I think I was burping bacon
Yeah,
for
'cause
like
like- 'cause like-
24 hours afterwards because I remember running the next day going, that was a really bad choice.
Because earlier today, you were like recalling this sandwich, and I was like, dude, I totally do not remember you eating this sandwich, but I'm like, you eat some really weird shit.
I do.
Like before races, so not as much now as we've gotten older, but like earlier on, you were
know
like,
about
you're
that.
like, when in Rome, like I'm just gonna go and try this, and I'm like, that's gonna make me shit my pants.
Yeah, but it
So,
was.
I don't remember what I had for lunch at the Sterling Market.
I don't even know. You may not have even. Oh,
I
at
did.
Sterling Food. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I did.
ate
I
there.
did. I
But I
ate,
don't think you ate at the Fat Shallot. I think you got something else.
No, I probably fat shallot without a gallbladder. I have no gallbladder, and having a gluten allergy. Yeah, no, that is an appetite for like disaster. So,
Yeah.
but we ate there. But the place that I loved going to was Cindy's.
Oh well, so this was a Dave's recommendation.
Yeah.
So he goes to Chicago for business quite frequently, and he was like, "Babe, you've got to go to the Chicago Athletics Club."
Dave did good.
Awesome recommendation. So one of the things I would say we've been pretty good at, and when I was kind of dogging on Midwestern cities, please don't take it personally, because I actually have an incredible love of Midwestern cities, because I love like getting into old history and architecture and all of that.
You and I are junkies for that stuff.
And the Chicago, I mean, and I mean down to little details.
Art Deco.
Like going
period.
in and looking at elevator banks or old mail
slots or tile.
Or
how many places have we been in?
Or
We're like,
light
look at the
fixtures.
tile and the light fixtures. look
Like-
at the floor, you know.
Yeah. We're like
We're
art
dorks.
connoisseurs, but not, and couldn't even really talk about it in any
we
really
appreciate
educated
it.
manner.
But
I
we appreciate it. Yeah.
So he's like, you've got to go to. There's a rooftop bar at the Chicago Athletic Association. So this is kind of definitely a bougie ass thing. I'm going to preface by starting that. The Chicago Athletic Club was started in 1893, and they call it a Venetian Gothic landmark. It's a living, breathing ode to Chicago's rich history. So basically, it was a private club up until, almost
2015.
2015. Yeah. 2015. It was a private club for the elitists of America. Muddy Waters played there. They have like
Classic, man.
Yeah, I mean, and we spent. I think we went and got drinks first. I think we went
did.
up to Cindy's, which has an amazing view of Millennium Park.
You can see the bean. You can see the bean.
And the lake.
Yeah, and the bean is also called Cloud Gate. And here's an interesting fact. So it was completed in 2006, and if you haven't been to Chicago, you have to go to the Bean.
Yeah.
And it is this huge like architectural like art sculpture. It looks like a big big bean.
It looks like a chrome
bean.
ginormous jelly bean.
And it
Like a
weighs
big chrome one.
It
though.
weighs
It's very reflective.
110 tons.
Holy shit.
Right?
It's
Dude.
I think it's one of the largest outdoor art installations, isn't it?
It is. And you and I took a ton of pictures there. So it was cool being at Cindy's because you're on a rooftop and you get to overlook, like you said, like the lake and the Millennial Park and stuff. And I don't know. I just that to me was just like that was like you know,
the cocktails.
It was a moment.
The cocktails were fabulous. It was a moment.
I loved it so much that later on, like fast forward a couple of years later, we were up there for my cousin's wife's bridal shower, and we ended up going. And my mom and I flew in earlier. We were meeting up with all of her sisters. I might have gotten my mom drunk a little bit at Cindy.
Perfect. Well, it's just so you're also going to pay for your drinks. It is a rooftop, so you're paying for ambiance too. But the
Yes.
drinks were fabulous.
Yes, I agree.
But I think after we were done with the drinks, we kind of meandered around the building. And I feel like we stumbled upon a billiards room.
We did. And pools?
Oh my gosh, an indoor pool.
With some incredible tile.
Oh,
I just remember the mosaics.
Oh God. And the woodwork.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're looking at the beginning of the 1900s, like that. Is that Art Deco?
Yeah.
At that point, I don't know what that is.
Art Deco
Gothic.
was
they call it Venetian Gothic.
Well, yeah, Art
that's-
Deco is more like the 1920s, like 1910, 1920s.
So it's before that, but it's just it's a monument. I want to go back and stay.
Yeah.
It is a hotel, so you can go back and stay at the Chicago Athletic Association.
I would totally stay there.
I would love to stay there just to see the rooms.
I totally agree.
Because I love I love a historic building,
I
especially one that's been so well preserved.
I totally agree.
It's beautiful.
And then after we were at Cindy's, we had gotten tickets to do a architecture boat cruise.
Because you have to do the boat
You
cruise
have to do
in
the
Chicago.
boat cruise, right? And I had been to Chicago a number of times more for work, so I had never been on the river.
Yeah.
And so you take this river cruise and you meander down the river. Was it the Chicago River? I think it's the Chicago River. So
Is it bad that the only thing I know about that river is that they dye it green on St. Patrick's Day?
no, but we get on this boat and and it was great because like they serve beverages, adult beverages. So we were like, oh, we already have like
true to our hydration plan.
Yes, we were
marathon.
still hydrating. I don't think we had drank any water that day. So we get on the boat. I think I had another glass of white wine.
I think I had a vodka cranberry.
You had some cocktail.
Yeah.
And then it started to rain.
Rain.
Not like just pour.
And we're wanting to sit outside on the deck. And I feel like it was like a cold rain.
It was a really cold
which is
rain.
like very opposite of what we got the next day with the heat. It was a very cold rain.
It was so cold.
And I made the very wise choice of wearing white pants.
White pants. Yeah.
White fitted, very tight pants. I had my tight pants on.
Oh my
I
God!
got my
so
flat pants.
so
Got my tight
so
pants on.
that was what I was gonna like share. Is
Did I
that
just steal it?
Is that no? It's okay because like we're on the same wavelength. So Lori and I, because we dress up in costumes every once in a while. One of our friends, I don't.
Krista.
Krista Finnegan. We had. Dressed up at some point in time in like the Dick in the Box costumes.
Yes, a Dick in the Box.
And then another time at Running Club, we dressed up in our
Tight
tight pants from Jimmy Fallon and Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, yeah.
And Reddy was like, I got my tight pants. I got my tight pants on. And so Lori's wearing these white tight pants, and it's a thinner jean material.
Oh yeah, you can see right the hell through them.
Right through them.
Right through them.
So
right through them.
It was a moment. But we were committed.
But you were very kind because after the boat tour, I do believe we went back to the hotel room and I changed before dinner.
We did because I was like, girl, you cannot walk around in your white tight pants. I was like, I know what color your underpants are.
Yeah, it happened.
Yes.
That happened.
Yeah. So where did we eat dinner that night? Because you were
yeah.
so
Adamant.
freaking adamant about this place, which I like, dude. When you pick eateries and you were laser focused, and I hate saying that, but you were laser focused.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like I'm just like, I am with you.
Yeah.
I am so with you. So where did
Well,
we
I
go?
was just nervous to begin with because I was worried they weren't going to have a gluten-free crust.
Yeah.
Because it's Chicago deep dish. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
We went because like at that point in time we started really doing like the pizza the night before
the pizza. Yeah.
Before the race. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that there are I don't know.
There's a ton of places, and everybody always has an opinion.
Everybody
right?
has their opinion about Chicago deep dish pizza, and to each their own. I respect them. I'm sure they're great. Everybody's taste is different, so it's fine.
It's like Philly cheesesteak, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Except we found really good Philly cheesesteaks, but that's a sidebar.
It's all good.
Lou Malnati's. It was my third time having Lou Malnati's, and I pretty much don't want to go anywhere else when I go to Chicago.
It was my first time going there, and I swear that is my best deep dish pizza I've ever had in my entire life.
It's delicious.
My entire life.
Yeah. I love Lou Malnati's.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did have a gluten-free option. And is that the place where we sat? Like we
I feel
actually
like we took it to go. Didn't we order it and take it to go because the wait was really long?
I thought we actually sat at the bar.
Oh yeah,
like
no,
we
you're
sat
right.
at the bar, and
You're right.
it was kind of cool because like it was so busy there, and the bartenders like they had so much stuff going on.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But the place like had like a really good vibe, and so we didn't rent a car in Chicago. We opted not to rent a car because like most of the places are within walkable distance.
It's Chicago, yeah.
I think we Ubered out that way because it was a little further outside of the city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also didn't plant a mile 20 beverage
We did
because
not that
of
race.
the city.
Yeah, that race we did not plan a
Like
mile 20.
where do you leave a bag out overnight or in
a
the
city.
morning in a city where it's not going to be discovered and taken off? Like it's just not possible.
So that one was a little difficult.
wah.
But we did do No Shower
The
Happy
happy
Hour.
hour, yes.
And we ended up going to the Elephant and Castle, which was just like a couple blocks away from our hotel. And we met up with our third group of people that we
Yes.
connected with. So
Elaine, right?
Elaine Matthews, who is
Treadle.
uh,
It's a link. She's one of those on Facebook that has the 3 names. It's Matthews Treadle.
Matthews Treadle.
Yeah.
Okay. So Elaine is your
It's
friend from
yeah, she's with the Turtle Running Club that I knew her from Ocala. We had met her for the Marine Corps marathon that we first ran together, and she lives in North Carolina, happened to be running Chicago, so we were able to catch up with her at the end for drinks, which was fun.
Which was great. And then my friend Steve Coe, who is a fellow classmate, another West Pointer. So the West Pointers, whoop whoop, like we were showing up like in Chicago. So Steve and his wife Anne. So Anne is also like Steve and Anne are one of just a handful of class of 93 West Point couples where both are dual West Pointers.
Oh.
And Anne is absolutely like fabulous. Steve is just a fantastic guy. He always goes out of his way to like connect.
Very nice guy.
And yeah, so
so is Anne.
Yeah,
So
and so
wonderful too.
he ended up meeting up with us at our No Shower Happy Hour, and we had some food and some drinks, and it was just kind of like cool to like go and connect with folks that like you just haven't seen in a little while. And
I think it's cool to be able to see you connect with people you haven't seen in a while, 'cause seeing a different side of you too.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
and even like later on, like you figure like, oh, was it Cincinnati? I won't steal the thunder, but like one of my friends from the water polo team, like it called me Coop. 'Cause
Right.
my maiden name is Koopman. And so everybody at West Point knew me as Coop. Because
Right.
that was my nickname. I really, really miss my nickname, I have to
Well, it's
admit.
just strong, like Coop.
Right?
It's like Cooper Digi.
I know. Every time
Do you do that?
every time I hear them like say Coop, and I'm just like, dude, they're like, I feel like they're cheering my nickname. And I always turned to
Yeah.
Jim and I was like, they're calling my name. But yeah, so it was cool to go and see Steve, as well. So and that was nice because it was like right down but we did do No Shower Happy Hour.
Yes, we did.
Yeah. All right. So what was the swag like? I mean, we're kind of wearing the shirts right now for those of you who can't see us.
So I find. Again,
Don't be snooty. Don't be snooty.
I am snooty.
Don't be snooty, but be
okay,
honest.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. So 2011, the shirt I never wear it. It's a T-shirt. They do the T-shirt
and we
design,
did say
which
like,
is fine.
and it was cotton.
No. It was tech, but it was white and it was crazy thin. Like this is thicker than what.
Oh, so
what
I
we
saw your
got in
pictures of
2011.
you and Dave from 2011. You guys are so cute and young. But
I
yeah,
know,
those
so
shirts kind of
young.
sucked.
Yeah, the shirt sucks.
These shirts are much better.
And I'll tell you, because this was the 40th. Like when you're looking at the medal, so
yeah, this is the 40th anniversary of the race.
It was the 40th anniversary.
Big deal.
It's a standard ribbon. All the ribbons, like this to me is the standard of what a ribbon should be. And it says 40 in the middle, and it has a bridge and a little bit of the skyline and the river. But like I don't know. I'm like
the metal is maybe like what, like 3 inches, 4 inches in diameter.
yeah.
It's nothing to call home about. Like
It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just so basic.
yeah,
It's really basic.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. I thought with it being the 40th anniversary of the race, like it would have a
Something.
little bit of pizzazz. And,
Just something.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more character.
But what kind of shirts did we bring character wise for that race?
Oh yeah. So we each wore tank tops.
Right, because like this is like when we like
This is the beginning.
This is really when we committed to being matchy.
Yes, this is the gateway drug.
Totally the gateway.
But it was reused because I do believe we first wore them when you and Julie did the half in Baltimore and I ran the full.
No,
did we not wear those?
No, this is the first time we wore these.
Because she
and then
has
we
one.
added Julie in when we ran Baltimore with Julie.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So we added
Yep,
that later.
because I found the third shirt for it.
Okay, so
Yes.
my shirt said, "I'll bring the alcohol,"
And mine says, I'll bring the bad decisions.
which is so accurate.
Yes. And when we do Baltimore, we'll share like what shirt Julie wore.
Yes. Hopefully, we can have Julie on with us too.
I think we should have Julie on for Baltimore because that's
Yeah,
when
for
she
sure.
earned her Marathon Maniac status. So I think that's the one that we'll bring her on. And you guys will be able to go and meet Julie. She's an absolute love, and she's just one of our dearest friends.
Yeah, she's the other part of our running trio.
Yeah. All right. So you have in here the least favorite gear of Abbott so far.
Yeah, even this shirt is an improvement over others. As far as like the giveaways and stuff, I love the New York. Maybe it's the short sleeve versus the long sleeves. New York gives a long sleeve. Boston gives a long sleeve. And this is a short sleeve, so maybe that's my hang up with it. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't do short sleeves a whole lot.
No,
because it's either a tank or a long sleeve for us.
But what I did find is that at the expo, like all the extra shirts, like I have four Chicago shirts because I got the 2 that they gave me, but then I bought 2 while I was there too because I like what's available for sale, like the extra stuff. I really liked all the extra stuff at the expo because the expo is so good.
I agree. And I think you bought the black t-shirt for Chicago, and I bought that one as well.
And that's like the tech that's more cotton feel, which I like a lot better.
I agree. Like this one I like a lot.
This one actually
I do short
is
sleeve
okay.
shirts at the gym.
But I
like
never
for
wear
weightlift.
this.
I don't wear I do
why.
not wear short sleeve shirts running. I'm either a tank top or a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
Although today I probably wore like 10 million layers of clothes for like a 40-something degree day, and I was like, after a mile, I'm like, I'm really hot. But that's okay.
You weren't wearing a neck gaiter,
so
this is very unusual for me to be extra garbed out, not you.
And I took my gloves off before you did too, so I'm just going and saying that. So, all right. So, question: would you run Chicago again?
Of course.
Yeah. I would too.
Yeah, I mean it's a world major.
Yeah,
so.
and it's Chicago, and I feel like we did so much in like the day before the race, and like there's tons of stuff that we did not go and do.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and the cool thing too, I think we almost forgot to go and say is that we took a picture of the Route 66 sign of where Route 66 starts.
Because we knew we were running Route 66 marathon in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, at some point in time down the road. Yeah. And so we just thought that it was really cool that's like we took a picture of like the origination.
I think we were just meandering around the city and I was like, oh, Laura, check that out. Yeah. It's the beginning of the Route 66.
Yeah. And like we were all the way on it in like friggin' Oklahoma. So that's some cool stuff. So, all right. So did we miss anything else that you would want to go and cover down on for Chicago?
I don't believe so. I feel like we hit it all.
I mean, it's a solid race. Again, very, very well organized. They had a ton of hydration stations. They had a ton of sprayers on the course as well.
Yeah, especially because it was hot. They were very well prepared. It's very well run.
Yes.
It's 100%. It's a world major. It's well run.
Yeah. No, totally. I would totally run Chicago again because,
absolutely.
Again, I have a lot of people out there and they would probably show up again if we went and ran Chicago again. So if our girls ran Chicago as far as their 50 states, I think we would run that again.
What's the chances of all 4 of us scoring that lottery?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, anyway, I want to thank you. We want to thank you for joining us today. I think we did Chicago justice, not only from a race perspective, but also, if you're not racing and you just want to go to Chicago for a weekend, highly recommend it.
Go to Cindy's.
Yes, go to Cindy's. Spend
the $20 or $25 on the beverage. It's fine.
Yes. We really, really had a good time in Chicago. I think we put 1,000 pounds of shit in a 1 pound bag.
Yes.
Being tourists in Chicago, and highly, highly recommend it. So thank you again for joining us. If, again, you haven't seen us on our socials, please go out to our Instagram, Mile20, as well as Facebook.
Show us some love.
And go make Mile20 your bitch this week.
Peace out.